What if I told you that ICE has now dozens of fake impersonators impersonating ICE representatives and agents all around the United States so that they can abduct your loved ones and even abduct you off the streets? And where do you end up? You end up in sex trafficking, you end up in organ trafficking, you end up in slave trafficking, you end up in human trafficking. That's going to be our talk tonight. We're talking about all things ICE tonight. And make sure you click that like button. Make sure you share this video because this is going to be a deep talk. I'm going in tonight. We're talking about ICE, the ICE epidemic. We're talking about the fake ICE. It's going to be interesting. All right. So make sure y'all click that like button. Make sure we share the video and let people know they want to hear what I got to say tonight, because everyone should be on guard for what is happening. And I'm going to talk about why it's happening, because that's what we all need to understand, exactly why it's happening. And I've decoded that. And I'm going to expose it tonight. All right. On the Forbidden Knowledge podcast.
Forbidden Knowledge Television.
This is logged in on November 25th, 2023, Eastern Standard Time. Sensitive material has been breached and it is now in front of the public. This is very sensitive documentation and the world will be in total chaos if leaked, and it is now leaked. All of it. Not one document, all of it. Place of exploitation, Forbidden Knowledge Television. This must be stopped.
Wow. What is going on with this ICE epidemic here? All right. And first of all, I know people were saying already, what is this torch doing on my desk? Well, this heavy object is actually an award. This is the golden trophy from school, as the Forbidden Knowledge Academy was rated the #1 self-improvement school on the platform. So shout out to the Forbidden Knowledge Academy leaders, because I don't have students. I only create and build leaders. Shout out to them. We made #1. This trophy is yours just as much as it's mine's. And look forward to growing and building and continue to build the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. And we have the School Academy for kids. Yes, right. For your children coming out very soon. We're going to be giving your kids the forbidden knowledge. Okay. Not that mainstream garbage knowledge that they give you in the building that's set up like a prison system. We're going to give your kids the real forbidden knowledge, homeschooling style. And that's going to be the next one we're working on as well. But right now we'll continue to build the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. So if you haven't become a student of the Academy, so you can learn how to become your own leader, the leader of your own life, and join and find your tribe. In there, we have over 1,700 incredible, beautiful leaders there to support on the same vibration, on the same frequency. The link is in the caption of this video. It's the 4bkacademy.com, the number 4bkacademy.com. If you're on X or Instagram, the link is in my bio. But if you are on X and Instagram, come on over to the Forbidden Knowledge Podcast YouTube account. Come to the Forbidden Knowledge Podcast YouTube account, click that like button and share the video. Come on to the big screen, all right? Or you can stay on Instagram, you can stay on X, not a big deal. But we are live on YouTube right now, all right? And tonight we're talking about the new pandemic. And this new pandemic is called ICE. And what's happened here is it's a two-pronged situation. One part of this situation is the government utilizing actual illiterate people to run the streets with very little training. They don't even know how to hold or handle guns. They don't know how to subdue a crowd. They don't know anything. They're pretty stupid people. The IQ is pretty low. You can just tell by the way that they're acting and moving around. They haven't had any real professional training, most of them. They're like, people who didn't qualify for the police force and might have got kicked out of security guard training too. And they're coming on in the droves because they're so hungry for money. So they decided to become slave catchers because they're so broke and so hungry for money. They want to take this, what they call easy money, by abducting human beings off the street. And that's what this world's come to. Shooting tear gas at children. Just 2 days ago, tear gas was shot into a vehicle of a black family that had a baby in the car, a 6-month-old baby, and the baby actually died from the tear gas. So for people who are saying it don't affect the black community, well, they've been snatching black people off the streets. I just saw a video today, another black couple getting snatched, and they just killed a black man in California while I was in California a few days ago. And they just killed a black baby, 6-month-old baby, with tear gas. They're killing and abducting every single race, including white, red, green, blue. They don't give a damn. It's crazy when they're killing white women in the streets in broad daylight and walking around like it's A-OK. One thing you don't touch in the United States, you don't touch a white woman. They shot that lady in the face 3 times in broad daylight. They don't give a damn. And just walking away like it's all good, and the government backing them up. Talking about they had internal bleeding. The guy had internal bleeding or whatever they have. Okay. Fantasy. When you can start shooting white women in the street in broad daylight in the face and walking away from that, we reached a whole new level of craziness. This is, look at Emmett Till. Look at a guy just got released from prison after 37 years. Someone accused him of looking at a woman, and you already know the color, and attacking her and touching her. Didn't happen. Raping her. They found the DNA wasn't his after 37 years. And there's hundreds of men in prison right now, maybe even thousands of men in prison right now doing life sentences for similar situations. So when you can all of a sudden just go and it's open season on white people, we've reached a brand new level of destruction. This is incredible. It's scary to watch. But now on top of that, what's really happening? Now we have the fake ICE. So we have ICE, which are hired by the government. They're the government's Gestapo. And then we have the fake ICE, who are capitalizing off of the fact that they can wear masks and they can throw on these flak jackets and they can buy badges on eBay.com and they can buy the military boots. And they can pull up in SUVs and they can pull up in little tiny unmarked cars and they can just start snatching people, because ICE has been snatching people illegally, snatching people without showing their ID, their badges, their face, snatching people without provocation, snatching people because they don't like how they look or how they sound, snatching people because they're looking at them or following them or recording them, snatching people with no orders to snatch people, taking people off the streets with no warrant, not presenting any paper or documentation at all. Zero documentation, zero. They better not run up on me. That's all I got to say, because I walk strapped and I'm not asking any questions. The second somebody grabs me, they getting pop, pop, pop. You know what that means? Back in the reincarnation cycle, you go. I'm not asking any questions. Stand your ground. But what's happening here is we have a situation where these capitalists are going, wow, I can get the flak jacket on Alibaba.com. I can get the boots at the local shoe store. I can get those cargo pants at Champ Sports. I can go buy a gun at the local store. And I can put some dark tints on my car. And then I'm going to start pulling up on people and snatching them. And most people are going to be horrified to injure or hurt a federal agent, because that's what they think they are, but they're not. They're fake. And I'm going to show you the receipts tonight that we have an epidemic of fake agents running amok in the streets of America, and nothing is being done about it. I'm telling you, pop, pop, fizz, fizz, or whatever leaf it is, don't run up on me.
I introduced articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. I am proud to have the support of almost 70 members of Congress already from all across the country. Secretary Noem has brought her reign of terror to the Chicagoland area, LA, New Orleans, Charlotte, Durham, and communities north to south to east to west. You'll hear from some of those communities, Minnesota and Portland. She needs to be held accountable for her actions. This is why I introduced 3 articles of impeachment against Secretary Noem. Number 1, obstruction of Congress. Secretary Noem has denied me and other members of Congress oversight of ICE detention facilities. I was denied access to the ICE facility in Broadview despite following Secretary Noem's unlawful 7-day notice requirement. It is our constitutional duty to find out what's happening in these centers where inhumane conditions continue to be reported. Number 2, violation of public trust. Secretary Noem directed DHS agents to arrest people without warrants, use tear gas against citizens, and ignore due process. She claims she's taking murderers and rapists off our streets, but none of the 614 people arrested during Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago have been charged or convicted of murder or rape. Federal agents repelled from Black Hawk helicopters and burst through an apartment in the South Shore of Chicago. That was in my district. They dragged people, U.S. citizens and immigrants alike, out of bed in the middle of the night. Number 3 is self-dealing. Secretary Noem has abused her power for personal benefit. She steered a federal contract to a new firm run by a friend. Her propaganda campaign to recruit ICE agents cost taxpayers $200 million. She made a video that turned the South Shore raid into something that looked like a movie trailer. But make no mistake, this is not a movie. This is real life, and real people are being hurt and killed. Renee Nicole Good is dead because Secretary Noem allowed her DHS agents to run amok. Families are forever torn apart. This is not about personalities or trivial disagreements. Secretary Noem has called my impeachment efforts silly. I want to tell her right now, Secretary Noem, you have violated your oath of office, and there will be consequences. I am watching you. Members of Congress are watching you. The American people, most importantly, are watching you. And most of all, we are not liking what we're seeing. If you believe impeachment is silly, then you are not taking your job or our Constitution seriously.
Okay. Today we're going to be watching a lot of clips, okay? We're going to be looking at a few things. Let's take a look at this sucker right here. Let's take a look at this bum. We need to string this guy up in the middle of the street. We need to put him on the old crucifixion cross and let him hang there for about 3 or 4 weeks. ICE agent pleads guilty to rapin, you know what I'm saying, G, a woman in custody for months. For months he was doing it. First of all, what is she doing there for months? I'll tell you what she's doing there for months because I did a video on this already. Private corporations own these ICE facilities, including government people in the local current government market, like the people in the new cabinet. They're on the board of directors for these private corporations that are running these ICE facilities. Right? So that's their agenda. Build these ICE facilities on tax dollars, then be on the board of directors, be advisors of these companies, and then make a profit, a private profit, by giving these companies government funding to pay for each individual slave that they capture off the street. And however long you can hold them is how much money you can make per day. Per day. And that's what they're doing. So this is just one of dozens of ICE agents that have been caught having unsolicited sexual relations with the people that they've abducted.
Has gone rogue. I was sickened to see an ICE officer shoot a 37-year-old mother, leaving her 6-year-old an orphan. That officer needs to be arrested and prosecuted. And Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned about the human rights of people in ICE detention facilities. I visited the California City Immigration Detention Center and spoke with 47 detainees. They talked about rocks in their food. They talked about having urine and blood in their urine and not being able to see a doctor. They talked about freezing in the night because they didn't have clothes. These are human rights violations. This is not the way America acts. We need accountability to ICE, and we need to act with our values.
How many people are sitting in these ICE facilities that aren't supposed to be there because they're regular documented citizens or documented individuals, and now they're being completely mistreated, human rights swept away, stolen away from their families, eating rocks in their food, urine in their meals? Crazy. Let's continue to take a little bit of a journey, because I want to really emphasize into the fake ICE epidemic that's going on in this country.
The FBI is warning people about other people impersonating ICE agents to commit violent crimes. In a bulletin, the Bureau cites several examples in which criminals have targeted victims while identifying themselves as immigration agents and wearing shirts or jackets with the ICE label. There have been reports of threats, robberies, kidnappings, and sexual assaults. The FBI bulletin says the impersonation scams make it difficult for the community to distinguish between legitimate and illegitimate immigration enforcement practices.
Interesting. That's one. Let's look at another one. Let's take a look at another one. Let's see here. ICE.gov. ICE agent impersonator who possessed destructive devices sentenced to 24-month imprisonment. How many people did this guy abuse and snatch before they caught him? An individual who impersonated a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent who possessed multiple destructive devices was sentenced Monday to 24 months in federal prison. Matthew Ryan Johnson, 26, of Fontana, was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Percy Anderson for possession of an unregistered destructive device. That means, a bomb and other weapons that he shouldn't have had. So obviously, here's another. Throughout 2017, Johnson used fake ICE badges and uniforms. So 2017, fake ICE badges and uniforms to falsely represent themselves as ICE agent, unsuspecting members of the public. So this guy has been playing around with this. He's also been involved in several crimes during that process. There's just another one. Let's take a look at another one. I'm just emphasizing my point here because this is just ridiculous. This has to stop, man. This is ridiculous.
Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Keith Garvin. Caught on camera, police arrested this man, 44-year-old Joshua Warner, last week on charges of impersonating an officer. Warner is accused of trying to detain two people in Galveston. KPRC2 News reporter Corley Peel spoke with the witnesses who helped catch him and shares a request from police tonight.
Name and badge number.
I don't have to give it to you.
You're not a real cop.
Joshua Warner caught on Robert Harvey's live stream, allegedly posing as an ICE agent on November 9th. Harvey grew suspicious passing this scene on 24th Street in Galveston.
Somebody's searching that truck. That white truck. Look.
Yeah.
Who the hell is that? They're shining a flashlight in his face.
What about this stop made you realize that this was a red flag? This doesn't seem legit.
Yeah, first it was the no police car. Then when we got out, like I just mentioned, he was quickly trying to get rid of him and get away. He started to walk away and we were like, hey, stop. And then it was his uniform. I mean, I've never seen police in a uniform like that. And his tool belt and all of his stuff, I mean, it looked like it had just came in from Temu or Amazon or something.
What the hell did we just see? That ain't even a cop.
As Harvey and his friend Bruce Redman approach Warner, he appears to tell the two men he stopped they can go.
Who are you?
Can I help you with something?
I immediately asked him, hey, who are you? What are you doing? What's your name and badge number? And then the fact that he wouldn't give me a name and badge number was another red flag.
You see it?
He ended up getting his fake badge out of the car, and then he actually hit my friend Bruce in the face with it.
Harvey and his friend notify police nearby. On December 22nd, Galveston police confirm he posed as an ICE agent and arrested Warner at his home, finding a fake law enforcement badge and ID card and seizing his car that resembled an unmarked patrol car.
We were very pleased that they
Again, so there we go. Another one, right? And one more before I get into listing these states here. Just got one more. This is craziness, man. Just crazy. Let's see if it's this one here.
A federal agent is raising new fears tonight and concerns over public safety.
Officials have been sounding the alarm as armed, masked federal agents detain suspected undocumented immigrants across Southern California in unmarked vehicles. KTLA's Carlos Saucedo live in Huntington Park, where the arrest was made, and why officials believe others could be out there. Carlos.
Micah, Court, good evening. The immigrant community is already on edge because of these ICE raids. Now they have to deal with possible fake ICE agents following an arrest here in Huntington Park. Tonight, there's growing fears that there could be copycats. With ongoing ICE raids, many people are living in fear that they or one of their loved ones could be snatched up.
Yo sé que estoy expuesto a que me arresten, pero aquí traigo mis documentos.
I'll likely be targeted and arrested, says Huntington Park resident Alfredo Reyes. He tells me in Spanish that he now carries multiple forms of ID on him, including his green card, even for a quick walk around the neighborhood, thinking federal authorities might confuse him as being undocumented. His fears have escalated, especially after what unfolded Tuesday. City leaders announcing the arrest of Fernando Diaz, accused of impersonating an ICE officer.
Prompted serious concern about public safety, impersonation of federal agents.
They say the suspect's Dodge Durango had law enforcement type lights, and inside copies of passports, federal enforcement style documents, cell phones, and a loaded firearm.
What this individual was doing with those items remains under investigation. But the presence of law enforcement style equipment without any verified authority raises serious concerns.
Police were first drawn to the vehicle, parked in a handicapped spot with no visible placard.
When further questioned, the individual claimed he previously worked for Customs and Border Protection. However, he could produce no valid credentials to validate that.
Instead, he was wanted for drunk driving and had previously been arrested for human smuggling. This follows weeks of unrest amid highly controversial ICE raids across the state and country. Many question the tactics by agents who often cover their faces and don't properly identify themselves to the community.
Who are these people? And frankly, the vests that they're wearing look a lot like they were ordered on Amazon. Are they bounty hunters? Are they vigilantes?
Now, the city recently passed a resolution requiring federal authorities to identify themselves when
Some people ain't identify their damn selves. They're not going to identify nothing. Now, the only difference between the real ICE agents and the fake ICE agents is that the real ICE agents are getting paid to abduct people, and the fake ICE agents are also getting paid, but they're doing it without giving the government a cut of the money. So they're not going to pay the VIG to the government. They're trying to go around the government and do their own side deal for selling the bodies. So they're both making money on bodies, but one's not paying the VIG. So, they'll get in trouble. That's what's going on. Now, why is all this unrest happening right now? Why now? Why are they deploying 2,000 of these slugs into the streets of Minnesota in the heartland to after they popped this white lady in the face 3 times, you know, with like no remorse. And then you get the vice president of the country hopping up on TV talking about something. She deserved it. Are you kidding me? And so why are they deploying all these ICE agents all over the streets and wanting to deploy, you know, National Guard into the streets? It comes down to one thing and one thing only. It comes down to what I told you the last couple years. There's 2 potential outcomes. One is the president can declare martial law. And if the president declares martial law towards the end of that president's term, well, then that president is going to remain president due to an executive order. It's an old executive order. That person can stay in office. Now, I'm not so much convinced that Trump wants to stay in office because I know that Trump is on his way out. His biological avatar is going to the bye-bye store. It's going to go back into this reincarnation cycle very soon, as he's had several TIAs already. Those are mini strokes. He's already getting the injections into his hand for that medicine that's helping him with his onset dementia once a month. He's getting that. And he's starting to lose control of his circadian rhythm, which is why he's falling asleep day and night and day. His body can't distinguish between sleep and waking cycles because his circadian rhythm is off due to the onset dementia and the medicine that he's taking for it. So he's probably got, who knows, maybe he's got 3 years left. And he's just grabbing up as much wealth as he can. Stealing as much wealth as he can to put it into his trust fund so that his family can have generational wealth left behind because, I mean, let's face it, they're not the smartest ones, apples that fell out of the tree. And so he's got to go out and do everything for them. Now, on the other side, well, why do it then? Well, the midterms are coming up in November. And when you have the midterms coming up and you've raised this much hell and done this much illegal activity and stolen this much wealth and money with these fake tariffs that only charge Americans money, he keeps making it sound like countries are paying tariffs. Countries ain't paying no damn tariffs, man. Americans are paying the tariffs. We pay the tariffs. I know this because I own an e-commerce store. So when I go to re-up my products and order my products from overseas, the tariff is charged to me, not them. I pay it. Walmart's paying the tariffs, which I tried to pass the expensive cost on to the consumer. The reason why all the prices of everything are going up is because of tariffs. We pay the tariffs. Nobody else is paying them but the consumer. And I mean nobody. No other country is paying a penny in tariffs. So when he goes, we got $10 trillion in tariff, we got $100 billion in tariff money. The tariffs are doing phenomenal. You mean you've been phenomenally robbing us and stealing our income? We're already getting income tax. Then we got to pay product tax. And we got to pay service tax and gas tax. And now we got to pay tariff on top of everything else. You found a sneaky way to create fake inflation and steal money from the hardworking man to put it in these accounts where the money disappears from as it gets siphoned into other black budget and other projects with no congressional oversight. And the money gets then dispersed between individuals or individuals' corporations, and then it makes its way to individuals' trust funds. Anyway, so the midterms are coming up. So why disperse all these people into the streets? Because it will be a great time to create a civil war or enough chaos to where you can declare martial law. You can declare insurrection so that you can't be impeached. It's another loophole in the system. Remember, Trump is a master of loopholes. I mean, he buried his own wife on his property so he wouldn't have to pay property taxes. So he made his house into a funeral home, a graveyard, just to get away from paying property taxes. This guy knows every loophole in the book. And to avoid impeachment, he may be looking to create an insurrection and a need to declare martial law or a certain level of civil unrest to avoid the impeachment. It's another loophole in the system. And there are tons of loopholes, and they know all of them. And so, meanwhile, we have fake ICE running the streets, snatching up people off the streets, putting them into human trafficking. They're ending up in holes in the ground in Libya, being sold for $400 a person. They're ending up in underground makeshift hospitals where they're being unalived and their organs are being taken out. And they're ending up, if you're female, you're ending up in sex trafficking. And if you're a young boy, you're also ending up in sex trafficking. This is exactly what's going on. And all that is multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar business. And don't be surprised if they have something to do with some money on the back end from them too. Because organ trafficking has been going on for so long, and human trafficking has been going on for so long. I remember Senator Cynthia McKinney was grilling Oliver North in a hearing about the fact that the government had given out contracts, known contracts to known human trafficking corporations that were stealing women and children and moving women and children around the country and around the world for profits. And she exposed it in a live hearing, and everyone forgot about it. You know, I wonder if I could find that real quick. I wonder if I can get lucky enough to find that. Let me just see. You never know. Cynthia McKinney. Let me look this up. Sometimes you just got to bring the receipts. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can find this old video. Yeah, this might be it here. Let's see if I can share this.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Turn your volume up.
Secretary, I watched President Bush deliver a moving speech at the United Nations in September 2003, in which he mentioned the crisis of the sex trade. The president called for the punishment of those involved in this horrible business. But at the very moment of that speech, DynCorp was exposed for having been involved in the buying and selling of young women and children. While all of this was going on, DynCorp kept the Pentagon contract to administer the smallpox and anthrax vaccines and is now working on a plague vaccine through the Joint Vaccine Acquisition Program. Mr. Secretary, is it policy of the U.S. government to reward companies that traffic in women and little girls? That's my first question. My second question, Mr. Secretary, according to the Comptroller General of the United States, there are serious financial management problems at the Pentagon, to which Mr. Cooper alluded. Fiscal year 1999, 2.3 trillion missing. Fiscal year 2000, 1.1 trillion missing. And DOD is the #1 reason why the government can't balance its checkbook. The Pentagon has claimed year after year that the reason it can't account for the money is because its computers don't communicate with each other. My second question, Mr. Secretary, is who has the contracts today to make those systems communicate with each other? How long have they had those contracts? And how much have the taxpayers paid for them? Finally, Mr. Secretary, after the last hearing, I thought that my office was promised a written response to my question regarding the 4 war games on September 11th. I have not yet received that response, but would like for you to respond to the questions that I've put to you today. And then I do expect the written response to my previous question, hopefully by the end of the week.
Thank you, Representative. First, the answer to your first question is no, absolutely not. The policy of the United States government is clear, unambiguous, and opposed to the activities that you described. The second question.
Well, how do you explain the fact that DynCorp and its successor companies have received and continue to receive government contracts?
I would have to go and find the facts, but there are laws and rules and regulations with respect to government contracts. And there are times that corporations do things they should not do, in which case they tend to be suspended for some period. There are times then that under the laws and the rules and regulations that passed by the Congress and implemented by the executive branch, that corporations can get off of out of the penalty box, if you will, and be permitted to engage in contracts with the government. They're not generally not barred in perpetuity.
This company was never in the penalty box. If you could proceed to my second question, please.
The second question, I've forgotten what the second question was.
I think Ms. Jonas knows it.
Okay.
Yo, it's just crazy. It's just bananas. Turn this off. Anyway, I forgot what you was talking about. These people, this guy don't give a damn what she's talking about. He's just talking word salad. He's giving her word salad for an answer. And the fact that he's saying these companies can get away with things like human trafficking of women and children and just get suspended and then be let back in at a later time lets you know they're all in on it. They're all in on this big thing. They're all involved in all of it. They're all involved in the drugs, the guns, the illegal activities, the money laundering, the human trafficking. It's all one big giant gang. It's organized crime at the highest level. And shame on us. Shame on every single one of us, including myself, for allowing this to happen. It's our fault. It literally is our fault. Whether you want to admit it or not, it is our fault. Because it's supposed to be we, the people. And we are the ones that are supposed to control what happens in government, not government controlling what happens with the people. They flipped the script on us and we bought it, hook, line, sinker. We've allowed them to literally take control of not only us, but the entire planet. And we just fall right in line like good old sheep. We are in full collusion with our silence. We are in full collusion with non-action. We're in full collusion with divide and conquer working on us and us fighting each other over scraps while they chop up the big pie. They programmed us. They got us. They reeled us right on in, man. They, like my man said, Shadow Wheat says they got us. They programmed us from the womb. They got us since we were inside the womb, when we were in the gestation period, when the embryo was in its gestation period, in its formation stages. They had us at that moment. Because the embryo is going to respond to what the mother's listening to, how the mother's feeling, what the mother's eating, who the mother's communicating with, what the mother's saying, the environment externally that the mother is in. All that's going to have a direct effect on the embryonic development. So we're being programmed before we take our first breath in this world. For 9 months, we're being programmed chemically and sonically. Then we come out into the world and immediately we're smacked. Bam! You come in with trauma. I'm gonna smack you on the ass. You just got your ass beat day number 1, moment number 1. And after that, they're gonna inject you with a whole bunch of things that you didn't say, I approve or I agree. Now you have all kind of potential genetic issues and situations. And then after that, they're gonna wrap you up and bundle you and start wiping you down and putting these drops in your eyes that you didn't ask for. You haven't even gotten to your mother's chest yet. Then once you get to the mother's chest, finally, now your parents are going to give you a name, they're going to give you a race, and they're going to give you a religion. 3 things that you didn't ask for as well. And now you're going to spend the rest of your life defending that false identity. That's what's going on. You think you're you, but you're all these other things, not really knowing who you are. And then you grow up with this armor that you put on, like Iron Man. You got this armor on, and you go, this is me. Not really. It's not really you. You think it's you, but you're operating in someone else's dominant frequency, because everything that you thought was you was forced on you and given to you and injected into you. So you don't even know who the hell you are. And you walk around, this is me, and this is me, and this is what I do, and I, and me. But you're only regurgitating information like a parrot that was fed into your ear and then manifested in your brain as a belief system. Who are you? Who am I? They say I'm Billy Carson. Well, my mom gave me that name. My dad gave me that name. That was my dad's name, Billy Carson. I'm Billy Carson II. I never asked for that name. It was given to me. So you have to begin to find out who you are. That's where your journey really begins. That's where the transformation in consciousness really begins. It begins when you discover who the hell you are. It begins when you discover what you're passionate about. It begins when you discover what your true core belief system would be if you weren't programmed to believe something. Right? I say this all the time. The only way to find out who you are is to take a piece of paper out, a good old-fashioned piece of paper and a good old-fashioned pencil with an eraser on it, because you're going to need to make some erasures. You draw a line down the center of that paper. On the left side, you're going to start writing things that you're passionate about, things that you would like to do, things that people told you could never do, but you said, man, I would really like to be able to do that. I don't care what it is. And you don't even have to know how to do it. Just write it down. Write down things you like, things you would be passionate about, things that you would like to learn, things you do know how to do very well and you love doing those things. Just take your time and write. You see, I'm left-handed. You write all them things down on the left-hand side. Take your time. Then on the right-hand side of that paper or that line, you're going to start putting them in order. Oh, okay. That'd be number 1. That would be number 2. That would be number 3. You know what? Not number 3. That's here comes the eraser. Erase that. Let me move this one down here up to number 3 and then put that one number 4. And take your time and put them in order of priority. And then when you hold that sheet of paper out in front of you like this, when you're done with this exercise, for the very first time in your life, you're going to know who you are. For the very first time in your life, you will finally know who you are. And now you can create your own journey. You can go on your own path. You can create your own plans and your own goals. You can become a master architect of your own life. Because now you can pursue your own life's passions. Once you do that, you leave the world of the sheep. You can now move on into this world, creating a brand new path. You can create a fractured timeline that you head down, completely total new reality. And it's going to mean that you'll leave some people behind. Not everyone's going to go with you to that new destination. It doesn't mean you can't look back, reach back and hug them and kiss them and tell them you love them. But you're going to places on that journey that they're not supposed to go. The secret to manifesting abundance in this reality is to find a need and fill it. And if you can find a need and you're passionate about what you can fill it with, that particular service, that particular widget, gadget, that particular whatever you can provide to the world, that art, if you can provide that knowledge, wisdom, education, whatever it is, coding, whatever it is, you can provide that in an exchange, an energy exchange. The side effect will be money in your bank account. You don't have to worry about chasing money. Money is just a side effect of an energy exchange. You don't go out there and chase money. You follow your passion. That's what it's all about. When people get to that level, this ICE stuff, we wouldn't even allow it to happen. There are literally 390 million Americans. 190 million of the Americans are adults. How powerful could we be if 190 million adults came together on one accord, putting down all of the divide and conquer issues that they forced into our brain and programmed us to believe, like skin tones and financial statuses and zip codes and orientations and all this, genders. Imagine if we can put all that aside and come together, 190 million people working on one accord. 190 million people fighting to take back control of our birthright, which is this planet, so that our families and our future generations have a chance. Or 190 million people acquiescing to the programming code and becoming NPCs and sheep led to slaughter. It's really our own choice. It really is our own choice. And it doesn't mean that we're going to go to battle against the government with weapons. That would be stupid. They have weapons that they can put on, that they can use on us that would eradicate us very quickly. It comes down to one day, 190 million people saying enough and drawing a line in the sand and saying, we just won't participate anymore. It comes down to a day where officers in the military realize the egregious acts that they are taking out against human beings worldwide, and they say enough is enough, no more. It comes down to the day when we remember that they hit us with a pandemic and then turned off the planet like a light switch, and we had no say-so in the matter. But why can't we turn off the planet like a light switch? Well, we can't because we don't know how to collaborate. We're always in competition with each other. We're in competition over collaboration instead of collaboration over competition. So because we can't get along with one another, we can't turn the planet off. But if we were on one accord, we just stage a shutdown and we wouldn't go back to doing anything and paying anything until we get until we get a seat at the negotiating table and get set up exactly the way we want the system to be run and set up, not the way that they want it anymore. It's called taking back control of your planet. And right now, this planet needs to be taken over by the people. We've given these oligarchs their fun in the sun. We've given them their time to play around and abuse and put boots on necks and plunder. They've had their fun. At some point, humanity has to stand up and say enough is enough and draw a line in the sand and say no more. This planet is being watched. It's being watched from the outside. That's right. Trump's spiritual advisor was just found guilty of having relations with a 12-year-old girl. That's very true. I just posted that in my story today. He was arrested. They're all pedophiles. All of them. We have a handful of pedos running a planet, and 8 billion people are being controlled by these handful of pedos. Shame on us. Shame on us. This planet is being watched and observed from the outside. Whew, man, we got a lot of work to do. How long will it take for humanity to grow up? That's the question. That's the grand experiment. Just because we got smartphones don't mean we're smart. Just because we have high-speed internet access doesn't mean we're intelligent and swift. We got a long way to go. We're getting there little by little, don't get me wrong, but damn it, we gotta two-step this, man. This is just ridiculous. It really is. Anytime that you can, in broad daylight, shoot a woman in the face, a woman who we're supposed to protect women. And I don't care if she was arguing and cussing. I don't care if she was antagonizing. I don't give a damn. Whoever's saying that must have never had a girlfriend or a wife. Because, you know, they can get snappy every now and then. Well, that don't mean you're going to go upside of her head with a damn pistol. And then call her a B after you pop her upside the head. There are a couple of jobs in this world that you just can't have a bad day. One of those jobs is being an officer in any shape or form, whether it's federal, whether it's police, military. You really can't afford to have a bad day. Like, you just can't make mistakes. You really are supposed to follow the law to its letter to prevent tragedies and catastrophes from happening. When you begin to become Judge Dredd and take the law into your own hand and become the judge and executioner, well, then you bypass a system that was put in place to have parameters set up so that these types of situations don't happen. We need to do away with Judge Dredd. And again, there's only one person to blame. If each and every one of us go look in the mirror, we'll see who to blame is. I know it's hard to swallow that. It might be hard to understand what I'm telling you. The core root of the problem isn't the government. The core root of the problem isn't ICE. The core root of the problem is the civilians' lack of ability to think for themselves, to create their own ideas without being taken into programming code and running on that code given to them by these oligarchs, and see behind the veil and realize the trickery and the foolery that's happening. It's our fault because we fail and lack the ability to have empathy for one another, because my skin might reflect photons differently than your skin reflects photons. How dumb is that? I mean, how absolute dumb is that? It's one of the most idiotic things that probably exists in this entire galaxy, maybe even in the entire universe. It's stupid. Anybody that's racist hasn't studied biology, hasn't studied basic science, hasn't studied anything to deal with neurology. They just, they might even be in that lower IQ mechanism, but probably in the 40s or 50s. But we have to really begin to realize that it's really on us. I can't hammer that home enough. Every time you feel like you're sick and tired of what you see happening, and you feel like you're powerless to stop it, you're not powerless to stop it. It's that enough of us have been divided and separated through dogma and programming that we can't see that we already have the solution right underneath our nose. And the solution is work together, collaborate, talk, love one another, support one another, help one another, organize with each other. Stop falling for the divide and conquer tactics, and stop believing that you voted for anybody, because you didn't vote for anybody. If only we voted for Kamala. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all, presidents are selected, not elected. Mossad put that man in office. Kamala never had a chance. She's not even in the bloodline. Trump is directly related to the same place and the same person, John Lackland, that all the other presidents were related to, including Obama on his mother's side. There's only one president that wasn't related to John Lackland, and that was Van Buren. But he was still French royalty. They probably didn't have a suitable puppet in that election time, so they put it on him. But that's the case. Presidents are selected, not elected. So don't think you voted for anybody because you didn't. Your vote goes into the electoral vote, the electoral college. Electorates, who you'll never see and meet, and I guarantee you these electorates have these stars on their arms, you know who they are. They are the ones that actually pick the president. And 7 times in history, they went against the popular vote. Because, like I said, presidents are selected, not elected. You have the illusion of voting. You have the illusion of left wing, right wing. Both wings were on the same bird. You've been pimped. That's why every 4 years, I write my own name on the ballot like I did this last election, and I post it on social media because it's legally allowed. I go to the write-in box and I put Billy Carson, and I drop it in the box because every 4 years I am the president. I don't give a damn who's in that office. I am the president of myself and my life. If we all take on that level of responsibility and stop giving away our energy and responsibility to someone else who can't even impact your life in any way, shape, or form, but only to add more trauma to it. Your neighborhood's dirty, organize the neighborhood and get everybody to get outside and clean that shit up. You got too much crime in your neighborhood, organize and get out there and stop the crime. Put together programs for these kids. You run the program. Stop waiting for government funding. You create the programs. You collaborate with the people in the neighborhood. You build the programs. When I was raising my kids years ago when they were little, my neighborhood didn't have anything but a parking lot in an open grass field, an old parking lot with an old basketball hoop. And I would take the kids out there and train them in different sports and things, running around, getting them jumping and running around, kids from the neighborhood. Eventually, I got together with guys in my city, and we collaborated and built a YMCA, the West Broward YMCA on South Post Road. If you go to that building, and as you're walking towards the building, look down at the stones, you'll see my name. When you walk inside, you'll see my name on a giant granite block on the inside. Then go into the rock climbing wall room. You'll see my name and all my kids' names because I dedicated the room to my kids, all 5 of them. We organized programs and we started doing soccer, baseball, football, basketball. We raised money. We did whatever it took. We put a program together so these kids wouldn't grow up bored and start committing crimes. I didn't sit around waiting for something to happen. I didn't sit around waiting for programs to just magically appear in front of me. I went out and helped make the programs. I coached every single sport you could think of, even sports I didn't even know the rules to, just to keep these kids busy. You want to keep the kids from getting in trouble? Don't give them social media. Don't even give them devices till they get to a certain age. Restrict their access on television, on cable TV. Don't let video games babysit your children. Take care of your damn kids. Teach them something. Stop relying on the school system and video games to raise your children. And then say, oh man, the government didn't come through and they stopped this program and they didn't fund this and fund that. And meanwhile, y'all got the nicest clothes, the nicest shoes, you know, you got a decent car. It's us. US, us. We got to go to work for ourselves. We got to go out here and make it happen. Stop waiting for outside sources to come and fix things. I told my mother when Jimmy Carter was running for president, that's how far back I'm going, I was laughing. And she was like, what are you laughing at, son? I said, I wonder how long y'all adults are going to fall for this trick. She said, what trick? I said, these presidents ain't going to do nothing. We're in the hood. I said, look outside. I said, do you think this is going to change when this guy gets elected or whoever gets elected? Do you think this is going to change? She started laughing. I've been on this for a minute. That was in the 70s. I said, listen, this ain't going to change. And guess what? I went back to my hood not too many months ago. It's worse. Not only did it not get better, it's worse. How many presidents have been since then? How many? Everyone's waiting for this savior to come and rescue them and rescue their cities and rescue everything about them and rescue their medical care and rescue. Nothing's going to get done unless you do it. That's the way it works. Take all your spare time and collaborate with your neighbors and create a solution to a problem. One solution to a problem at a time. And before you know it, nationwide, there will be millions of solutions happening. I'm just saying. But tonight's talk was about these fake ICE agents running amok, running the streets. I got one report I want to read here. Below is the best effort report. California, Huntington Park, Fernando Diaz arrested, fake ICE. Sacramento, Omar Madarani arrested, fake ICE. Santa Ana, Fullerton area, fake ICE. They don't have a name of the person. Colorado Springs, man accused of flashing fake ICE badge. Connecticut, Stamford, fake ICE calls. Man was using intimidation. Florida, Indiantown, Jose Juan Lopez arrested after deputies said he conducted a fake ICE traffic stop, posed as immigration agent, demanded immigration ID. Panama City, LaTrance Battle, arrested after deputies said she wore ICE. They got females out here faking ICE. They out of control. Wanted to kidnap. She tried to kidnap a man. A woman tried to kidnap a man. That's outrageous. She really got to be on crack cocaine. North Carolina, Carl Thomas Bennett arrested. Police allege impersonated ICE, threatened deportation and sexual assault at a motel with an individual. Durham reports fake ICE had a truck and everything. Tried to abduct some people in a truck. New York. Can't pronounce this person's name. It's a crazy name. Impersonating ICE field director. Wow. Tried to abduct a family. Pennsylvania. Man accused of impersonating ICE during a robbery. South Carolina. Sullivan Island, Charleston County. Sean Michael Emmerich Johnson, charged after police said he impersonated ICE and law enforcement. He detained and harassed Hispanic men. Texas, Galveston, Joshua Warner, arrested after investigators said he posed as an ICE agent. Fake ICE badge. Detectives say he had more victims. Ooh, so where are these victims at? They're gone. He probably sold them people. Houston, Giuliano Christopher Thompson, arrested after police said he claimed to be an ICE agent during a robbery. Austin, police warning about scam calls impersonating ICE officers and ICE officials. So they're now making you pay money to say, if you give us this money, we're not going to abduct you. These are people who are fake, so they're getting paid. Some of them are getting paid $3,000 and $4,000, by the way. San Antonio, federal warning, spoof calls using HSI number to threaten arrest. Again, that's more extortion for money. Virginia, Prince William County, police investigating reports of a masked man impersonating ICE agent at an apartment complex, trying to abduct people. Washington, D.C., ICE imposter scams statewide. That's where the White House is located. You can't make this stuff up. Wow. Robbery, extortion, fake authority, Houston. Kidnapping and coercion, Bay County, Florida. ICE raid hoaxes, intimidations, and stunts, Durham, North Carolina. Phone scams and spoofing, Austin, Stanford, and San Antonio. And I can go on and on and on. So not only are there ICE agents out there abducting people, you got the fake ICE agents out there. This is why I walk around strapped 24/7. 24/7. I'm telling you. Anyway, we got a couple of great things to announce tonight. A couple of really good things to announce. Let me see if I can pull it up for you real quick. For some of y'all, I might see you in Texas. I'll be in Dallas, Texas in a couple of days. I'm going to drop this link here in case you want to meet me in Dallas, Texas. It's a very small group. It's a very private, small meeting that I'm having there in Dallas, Texas with Roderick Martin. I just dropped a link in the live chat. The link is also in my bio. It's truthvsauthority.org, truthvsauthority.org. That's one. Okay, so I'll be there. Also in February 20th to February 20th through the 23rd, I will be in California. You can come meet me at the LAX Hilton, the Los Angeles Airport Hilton. It'll be the Conscious Life Expo. You can come see me there. I'll drop the link in the live chat. Conscious Life Expo, February 20th through the 23rd. I'll be doing a lecture, a keynote speech, 2 panel discussions, and then a post-conference lecture at the Conscious Life Expo. It's going to be amazing. Huge. And then we have an incredible event in Atlanta with Dr. B. Sirius. For those of you who attended our God Power 1 and God Power 2 classes, which were a total of 24 hours of teaching, we now have God Power 3, which is really learning how to unlock your divinity codes. That's the name of the event, Unlock Your Divinity Codes. And that's coming up this March, actually. It's March the 1st. I just dropped a link in the live chat. The link is also in my bio. That's going to be March the 1st. And of course, the last thing I want to tell you is that you can be a part of a very special academy. And that academy is the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. And that's what this trophy is here on my desk for. For those of you who joined late, I'm dropping the link to the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. You can join me there. This is the school games trophy. It's the golden trophy from school. We are the #1 self-improvement organization on the school platform called the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. We hit number 1, and this is massive. This is heavy. We got a trip out to California, all expenses paid, to sit with Alex Ramosi, the founder of the school platform. And that was nice. And we got the school trophy here as well. Okay, so that's a great touch. This trophy doesn't just belong to me, it belongs to all the leaders inside of the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. Thank every single one of y'all for y'all support, and thank you for the love and the engagement that's going on in the academy. We are really building an academy full of leaders. Sometimes we have 20,000 engagements in a day, which is tracked in the analytics section. To only have 1,700 people generating 20,000 engagements means everyone is hyperactive. Everyone's doing the work. Everyone's posting the exercises. Everyone is doing all the classes. They're watching all the videos. They're doing all the lessons. They're really putting in the work inside the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. And it shows. And it shows because this is based on pure analytics. No favoritism, no politics. It's only based on data. And so I want to thank everyone that allowed us to achieve this incredible award and be recognized as, out of 180,000 schools on the platform, to be number 1 in that category is amazing. So I appreciate it. We thank you. And I'd love to see you in person at one of these locations. I'll drop the link to the Forbidden Knowledge Academy one more time. You can join the Academy right now for free for 7 days. And I'll be your mentor for 7 days. You can get $10,000 worth of mentoring for 7 days for free. So go on over to the Academy and join me. And then I'll see you live in the Academy Tuesday night for a live session, a live mentoring session with Q&A, and I'll answer all of your questions in that Q&A session as well. Okay? So I'd love to see you there. All right. Thank y'all for hopping on tonight. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Again, don't forget, man, we got to wake up as a people, all races, all creeds, all belief systems. Stop falling for the divide and conquer tactics. They're trying to pin us against each other, and they're trying to get us into a civil war so that the current regime can continue on traumatizing us. Don't fall for it. Just don't fall for it. All right? And I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.